Brewdog, Shore Leave, Amber Ale.
Life is too short to be drinking shitty beer.
Welcome to another edition of Bands, Bikes and Booze Reviews. Quickly, I've got just a couple of announcements to make. I've just put up a couple of the bass guitar videos. I hope you enjoy them. If you like them, please leave a comment. If you've got any requests, I can't promise anything. Somebody's already requested a Deep Purple. I'm going to give that a go. But yeah, if you like them, if you enjoy them, then please leave a comment, give it a like, share it or whatever. The reason I'm doing it is because I noticed I've been putting up fucking beer reviews for ages now, and I just thought, this channel is called Bands, Bikes and Booze, so let's get some bands in there. There will be bikes in the future, but the bikes are off the road at the moment. But yeah, watch this space. What was the other announcement I was going to make? I can't remember. That was my birthday the other day, and my missus got me this. It was shit I need to write down because I'm old, and that is so fucking true. And full disclosure here, when I am doing these reviews, I do read off a couple of notes. I can't remember everything. There's just too much information, some of the historical stuff, which I like to put in my reviews. Some people like it, some people don't. If you like it, brilliant, carry on watching. If you don't like it, just skip ahead. But I do like to put in, because I'm a history, well, say I'm a nerd, but I'm a big fan of history. If I can shoehorn in history to any subject, I will fucking do it, because I love imparting information that will get you absolutely nowhere in life. Maybe the toilet and back. But there you go. So there's the two announcements. I got this from one of my mates. Thank you very much. That was a lovely birthday present. I think I need to get some new mates. What else? Brewdog. Why am I reviewing a Brewdog beer? Well, Brewdog Shore Leave. Now, I read about this a while back, and I wouldn't have reviewed this were it not for the curious case of the alcohol-free brewer in Edinburgh, who had come up with a range of non-alcoholic drinks, which I imagine were beer flavoured. I mean, if you're brewing soft drinks, they're non-alcoholic drinks. They were called Jump Ship Brewing, all right? And they had brought out a range of beers called Shore Leave. They patented Jump Ship, but they didn't patent Shore Leave, unfortunately. And they said a couple of weeks after they announced it, lo and behold, this came out from Brewdog. Now, Brewdog's lawyers have said they didn't know about it. It was completely news to them. And I have to take that at face value. I've got no evidence to suggest otherwise. But you know what Brewdog like. You know what Brewdog would have done were the situation reversed. Now, they did this Jump Ship Brewing, they did trademark their name Jump Ship. And would you believe that Brewdog were going to use Jump Ship as well, until they realised that it was trademarked and they couldn't. So I have to take that with a pinch of salt, with their solicitors saying, or the lawyers, or whatever you want to call them, saying that they didn't know about this brewery. I think it's a little bit more of a coincidence that there was Jump Ship Brewing who were doing a range of beers called Shore Leave, and lo and behold, a few weeks later, Brewdog come out with Shore Leave with the trademark Jump Ship. Now, they dropped the Jump Ship because they had to, and now they've changed it to Rock the Boat. So that's I don't think they've put it on the bottle, but it's certainly on the website as well. Is it on the From the Good Ship Brewdog? Yeah. Full disclosure here, I'm not a fan of Brewdog, as you may or may not know. I had some viewer make a comment the other day.
Nothing unbiased about this review. There's a mainstream beer company that's doing well. Roughy Tuffy Biker dislikes the company and their ethics, and lo and behold, he declared it's the worst beer he's had all year with every other Brewdog beer they sell. Tone it down a bit, mate. It's embarrassing.
That's his view. However, I'm going to put that to bed because yes, I don't like Brewdog. I don't like their business ethics. I don't like the two bellends that run the company. I don't like the way they treat their employers. I just don't like the company, full stop. So you're asking me, why do you buy the beer? Well, this is a beer review channel, and if you're going to be buying Brewdog beer, then I want to have an opinion on that and give you my opinion on this channel. And I have to say, I don't think I've had a decent beer from Brewdog. I really, there's none that stand out. There's none that are my go-to beers from them. So I thought I'd give this a go. And there was a reason that I wanted to go for this one. Apart from the alcohol-free jump ship fiasco, there was quite a bit on their channel, because I decided on their channel, on their what's the name, on their website, and I tried to remember it, but I can't, as you know. That's why I've got the book. But I wanted to read it out to you. So this is what they're saying about Rock the Boat, and this is why I want to review it, right? So Rock the Boat, this is what they've got. I'm reading this off my phone, right? So bear with me. You've tried real ale. Yes, I have. I love real ale. And you might think you know what real ale tastes like. Well, I've got a fair idea. I've tried a fair amount of real ale in my time, but don't be so sure. Okay, and they're spelt short, S-H-O-E-R, right? This is real exciting ale. No, this is exciting real ale, I should say. This is real exciting ale. Okay. Now the next sentence: Columbus, Mosaic, and Citra come together to give a light fruitiness and a balanced bitter finish all round, together with a lightly toasted biscuit and caramel aroma. Real ale like your granddad's never tasted. This is punked up proper ale. Right, real ale like your granddad's never tasted. So it's basically having a sly pop at the old traditional ales. And that's fine if you want to do that. But I've not really seen Brewdog come up with a decent bitter. I really haven't. So to say that is a bit fucking disingenuous. You can call it old, you can call it boring. Can you brew it though? I've not seen it. Maybe there is. Leave a comment down there. I mean, I'm sure Brewdog have attempted a bitter. I've tried some of their other stuff as well, which, again, you know, and this is, and please don't take this as a dig at craft brewers, but a lot of them seem to think just chucking a load of American hops in and turning it into a fruit cocktail is what ale is all about. And it's not. I've always said simple ingredients, traditional ingredients, traditional style beers. If you can brew them, I have my respect for you goes up. I recently tried the Thornbridge bitter and the Lord Marple's bitter and the 5 Points Brewing bitter, both which were really nice. And it gave me a little bit more respect for them breweries, because they brew traditional style beers and done them reasonably well. Now, they weren't the best bitters, don't get me wrong, but they were okay. They were certainly drinkable. So that goes up in my estimation. These fuckers, nah. There's a little bit more. And again, there's a couple more digs as well. This isn't the real ale you know and probably don't love. Well, you know, again, that's another dig at traditional style real ale. Why are you having a go? Why are you having a fucking pop at it? I don't get it. This is Shore Leave, 4.3 amber ale that isn't afraid to rock the boat. Now, amber ale, in my opinion, is a replacement term for bitter, or it was. I mean, these fuckers have just bastardised everything now, but that's what it was. And you only have to look at the Bath Ales Gem. They've called that an amber ale. For all intents and purposes, it's a bitter. It's not a real bitter, but it's a very nice drinkable beer. And to me, that's an amber ale. So that's, in my opinion, what it is. So they've called that an amber ale, and it says, move over stale ale. This is unreal real ale. Right, okay, move over stale ale. Well, stale ale is nothing to do with, well, stale ale actually, I mean, this shows their knack of knowledge. Stale ale is what was termed in the 1700s as mature ale, and you'd have a pint of stale and a pint of young. And young, of course, would be the fresher beer. Stale would be the matured beer. Because back then, you've probably seen it on the channel, I've mentioned this loads of times, but in England, the beer was sent straight from the brewery as soon as it was made in big casks. and it was given to the innkeepers or the landlords, and they would mature it in the brewery, in the pub or the inn, rather than it was done in the brewery. That's only a recent-ish thing. Let me give you some more spiel that they've come. So they've called this, that they've come along with, I should say, that they've called this Real Ale Invented. Real Ale Invented? Okay. Did it need reinventing? I thought it was doing rather well, actually, but according to Brewdog, it needs reinventing. For a long time now, real ale has been incorrectly viewed as something for men who remember paying for pint with a couple of shillings. Well, yeah, I'll give them that, because generally in this country, ales and bitters are seen as beer for the older generation. Never used to be like that until lager came along. Lager changed all that. Before that, every young geezer who was working and all that would drink bitters and ales that was around at the time. So, well, it's time we rock the boat. Gone are the days of boring, poorly kept cask ales. Boring. Well, yeah, you can. That's just a matter of opinion. Boring ale. You might think it was boring. Some people liked it. Now, if you're talking about the keg stuff, then yeah, from the 70s, like Red Barrel and Double Diamond and that kind of thing, yeah, you might have a point. But they're talking about poorly kept cask ales. Well, poorly kept is not down to the brewery. Poorly kept is down to the landlord or whoever's serving it. So you can't really level that accusation at the brewers. Anyway, this is a brand new real ale. Right, okay. Brewed with Columbus, Citra and Mosaic hops to create an interesting, complex and sessional beer that will change the way you think about real ale forever. Right, okay, so they're trying to rebrand real ale, in my opinion. Well, real ale is a very broad term, I will give you that. Real ale encompasses a lot of styles. So to try and... that's like them trying to almost say that they're rebranding beer, because real ale encompasses numerous styles. It really does. Well, in fact, it encompasses all styles of beer. If you really want to get technical with it, yes, the different brewing techniques may mean it's not real ale. You know, the definition of real ale is not mass-produced keg style beer that's just macro brewed, basically. And that's what the campaign for real ale was against, that kind of thing, which was rife in the 1970s. And that, of course, that's when the camera lads all started up the campaign for real ale, which was a very noble thing to do, in my opinion. But on here, it's got another little bit, final bit, and this will be it. It says, "Goodbye stale ale. Real ale is for everyone." Yes, of course it is. So, yes, I agree with that statement. And goodbye stale ale. Yeah, well, who likes stale ale? In the term as in beer that has been sat in a pipe for ages. When they talk about stale ale, it does have two meanings if you know your beer. A pint of stale years ago, I mean, I'm talking years ago, centuries ago, would have a totally different connotation. Try Shore Leave, a 4.3% amber ale that has a light fruitiness balanced with a medium bitter finish. It's drinkable and flavourful and for everyone. From the punks, here we go with the punks. From the punks to the pirates to the payroll managers. Oh, fucking payroll managers. Yeah, I bet that's all you lot fucking care about. And everyone else in between. Punked up proper ale for the 21st century. Pints are being pulled at your local Brewdog bar. Cans are available online. Head down to the real ale aisle of your local supermarket and get your hands on some unreal ale. Yes, well, I did get this from the real ale aisle in Morrison's. So I think I've said enough for this section. I'm not going to go through the history of Brewdog. I'm not going to go through their unethical business practices. I'm not going to go through the way they treat their employers. Needless to say, I'm not a fan of the two bellends that run this company. But I'm reviewing their beer, so let's get on to the next section. Right, so I've given you a brief description of the hops that are in here: Citra, Columbus and Mosaic. Citra, in case you don't know, very popular hop that was brought over here in 1992 by the Oakham Brewery. And Citra hops, as the name would suggest, contain grapefruit, lime and bitterness. And they're used mainly as a bittering hop, but they can be used at later stages of the boil. Columbus hops sound quite nice, actually. Columbus hops are earthy, black pepper. They've got some spice in there as well. Some people have likened it to curry powder. I don't know. Maybe it could be that garlic flavour that you sometimes get from hops. Some people have almost called it like an oniony type flavour as well. I have had that in a few beers before. Usually that's associated with fresher style hops, but yeah, that is a thing in beer. It also contains licorice. Some people have detected licorice notes in there, and some slight citrus notes as well. So that's your Columbus hops. Mosaic hops contain mango, they contain pine. If you're wondering what pine is, pine's that resinous pine type flavour. If you're wondering what it actually tastes like, if you get like a little pine leaf, you know, the little small needles, just put one of them in your mouth. That will give you a bit of an idea of what it's like. And again, it contains citrus notes and some herbal notes as well. I don't know what the dogs are barking at, but they're barking at something. The malt in this, they've got quite a few malts in here. They've got light Munich malt, which, as you may or may not know, is bread, the liquid bread type flavour that you get in all them good German Helles. It's also got some medium crystal malt, which is basically adds sweetness to the beer. I should say the Munich malt also does give it some body as well, and this doesn't contain wheat, so I'm going to be checking what the body is on this beer. It contains pale ale malt, which I imagine is the base malt. That's just light in colour, and it's got believe it or not, a malty flavour. And then you've got Vienna malt, which has a nutty and bready malt type flavour. So the malts look quite good, and I've noticed this with a lot of craft brewers. They put a lot of different malts into their beers, which I don't know why they do that. I imagine all these malts have been grown on the east coast of the United Kingdom. Norfolk and Suffolk really are, and sometimes Lincolnshire too, really are the place where the best malt in the UK comes from. If the best hops come from Kent, Worcestershire and Herefordshire, the best malt comes from the east coast, sort of Norfolk, Suffolk and Lincolnshire. So there you go. So all that remains now is for me to get this open and tell you what it's all about. Right, Brewdog, you bunch of tossers. Full disclosure here, right? If this is a good beer, I'll tell you. If it's shit, you're going to know about it as well, all right? So, yes, I might not like the company, I might not like the two bellends that run it, but if it's good beer, I will tell you. And it makes some bold claims as well, so it's got to be fucking good, all right? Otherwise, you're going to incur my wrath. Right, there it is in the glass. There's a little bit of a haze going on there. I'll quickly show you the cap as if you didn't know what a Brewdog cap looks like. Is it that way up? What way up is it? Yeah, is it that way? Yeah, it's that way. Fucking hell. Twat. There you go. Right. Aroma. Oh, Jesus. Oh. That is nasty. It's got some of that garlicky Columbus style. Oh, it does not smell good at all. That really is not nice. Do you know what? It really does remind me of that old IPA. It's not quite as bad, but maybe it's a mixture of the sulphur that's in there as well. See if I can just get rid of some of that. Oh, that really does not smell nice. If you're used to, really nice fruity English ales, or you're used to the lovely bready malts that you get from German Helles, this ain't nice. Oh. So what are we getting? Well, there's that earthy, oniony type aroma. That's definitely there, and that's the second Brewdog beer that I've tasted. The initial big smell of that has died down a little bit, so I'm imagining there's some kind of sulphur that's mixed in with that as well. But it really does not smell good. It's like a smoky, earthy, oniony type aroma, and if that sounds not nice, believe me, it is not nice. And I really, really don't want this, or I don't want people to think I'm saying this because I'm not a fan of Brewdog. That is genuinely what it smells like. God, if it tastes anything like that, then Jesus Christ. Put it this way, it doesn't smell appealing. However, the proof, as I say, is always in the tasting. So let's get this down my fat Gregory Peck. Wish me luck. Well, that is not as citrusy as I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to have big notes from that Citra hop content in there, but it isn't as bitter. And they've called it an amber ale, but to me, it's looking and sort of tasting like a golden ale. And you know my views on golden ale. It's probably it's an anomaly in the British style of ales, and I think personally it was brought out to try and compete with lagers. And golden ale in all of the English styles, I would say is the biggest hit and miss style in there. But this is what it's reminding me of. Let me dive in again. That horrible oniony, earthy aroma is there, and it's not nice. Maybe I've been spoiled. Maybe some people are used to this aroma, but because I've been drinking a lot of German beer lately, and when I've not been drinking German beer, I've been drinking some really good English ales, you know, like Hook Norton, Old Hooky, the Tongham tea from the Tongham Brewery, and what was the other one? Old Peculiar, of course, and Adnams Broadside as well. They're my sort of go-tos. And of course, Fuller's London Pride. I had that Fuller's recently, the Fuller's case. I got through that at a rate of knots. But yeah, when you're used to sniffing them aromas, this smells decidedly fucking dodgy. So that's a fucking 0 out of 10 for the aroma. I will say though, the malt content on this is bigger than I thought it was going to be. The hop content is there, but what I'm getting is very much a golden ale style flavour. Is it a good beer? Well, I can't get over that aroma. And as you know, and I've said this in a few videos, aroma is a big part of drinking beer. If you don't believe me, then the perfect analogy is, why do people hold their nose when they're drinking something that isn't very nice? Because you may not, you know, and this is subconscious as well, but while you're drinking, the aroma has a big effect on the flavour too. And yeah, as I say, when you hold your nose, if you're drinking something nasty, it kind of curtails the flavour a little bit. And this aroma is not nice. The beer, on the other hand, the finish is quite malty, maltier than I would have expected, and it's a kind of biscuit malt. And considering the amount of malt that they put in there, I'm not surprised. The crystal malt is evident, because it does have like a sweet biscuit flavour, and when you've added all them, especially the Vienna malt as well, which has got like a nutty style malty bread type flavour, you kind of get that in there. But I will say there's not much of the fruit cocktail on here that I was expecting. But it's tasting like a subpar golden ale to me. That's what I'm getting. As I say, they called it an amber ale. Well, amber ale, I think, it's starting to become now I wouldn't say a catch-all term, but a contradictory term. in my opinion. And I think it was introduced because people didn't want to put bitter on the side of their cans and bottles and on their pump clips as well. So they've called it amber ale. But this, to me, it's not an amber ale. That's a golden ale. It tastes like a golden ale. It's got some of the characteristics. If you've ever tasted the Wainwright's golden ale, who's the other one? Is it Black Witch? It's the Morehouse Brewery Blonde Witch. If you've ever tried that, this is similar, and that wasn't great, to be honest. Yeah, just a very, very average golden ale. What do you think of it? Well, the claims that they're making, Jesus Christ, redefining real ale with this, I do not fucking think so, my friends. Now, you can shout about badly kept beer, and you can fucking whinge about old men paying 2 shillings for a fucking beer, but if you think you're going to redefine or revolutionise real ale with this, you are very much fucking mistaken. And again, it's the marketing people. This is what they've come up with, and what they were making is very, very bold claims. And if you're going to make bold claims like that, you have to come out with an outstanding beer, and this is anything but outstanding. The finish is more malt than anything, I will say. But there are hints of the hops that they've put in there, but it's just instantly forgettable. It really is. As golden ales go, I mean, there are some good golden ales out there. I tried the Jubilee Golden Ale from St Peter's Brewery. Now, they are a brewery that know how to brew beer, and both of their golden ales are really good. And even they don't make claims about revolutionising real ale and stuff like that. But these fuckers, they've got delusions of grandeur. They really have. And they value themselves at £2.3 billion? You fucking chances. They've got a big American financing company behind them. So what they've done is they've taken on their worth as well, even though they only own 23% of the brewery. And they've added that to their wealth, and they valued themselves at 2.3 billion. There's no brewery in the world. AB InBev aren't even worth that. Carlsberg Heineken aren't even worth that. Carlsberg Heineken, that's not even a company, is it? Carlsberg Marston's or Heineken aren't even worth that. So it's just ridiculous that Brewdog are coming up with these outrageous claims. But they don't give a fuck. No one questions it. I do question it. If you're going to make bold claims like that, then you need to fucking back them up. And this, you're not fucking backing it up at all. Revolutionising real ale? Get to fuck. As they say in Glasgow, get to fuck. That is so fucking average. It really, really is just an average golden ale. Amber, they've even got the classification wrong, because amber ales look amber. That to me is golden. It's got a hue to it, but that may look a bit orangey to you, an amber, but it isn't. That's a very light colour and could easily pass as a golden ale. And it's what it tastes like. Amber ale needs a bit more body, bit more depth to it, bit more fruitiness to it. And again, it's the panacea that a lot of brewers use. They just throw American hops in and think, everything's going to be fine. If you really wanted to brew a decent amber ale, the malts, yeah, I'll give you the malts. You've more or less got them right. I wouldn't have used the crystal malt. Has fucking bailed them out here. And I'm not saying Munich malt and pale ale malt and Vienna malts are bad malts. They're more used in lager, but you can use them in top fermented beers as well. So I'm not saying they've got that wrong. But the hops, if you really wanted to get it right and you really wanted to make a claim about boring stale ale, then either throw some British hops in there, or brew a bitter or something like that, and brew an outstanding bitter. But I don't think Brewdog can. they come across to me as, I wouldn't say chancers, but brewers that keep things relatively safe, i.e. everything has to have American hops. Now, I'm not saying they've used American hops in everything they do, but if ever there's a, and Cloudwater do this as well, if ever there's a traditional style, the temptation to just throw American hops in there to, you know, to I wouldn't say to cover up a multitude of sins, but to give it their own unique twist. Why not brew traditional, just to prove that you can, and try and compete with the best? Then go back to brewing your New England IPAs, your American style ales. Then I wouldn't have a problem with that. If you can brew traditional beer well, brilliant. And the trouble with Brewdog is, when they've tried to do this, they've done it with the Lost Lager as well. They called it a Pilsner and they just completely missed the fucking point. And a lot of brewers do that. They just don't look at tradition. And it winds me up, because the amount of English breweries, and sorry, I should say British breweries, that are closing down now. You know, this style, this unique style of beer that we have in this country is dying on its arse. And, you know, fuck nuggets like Brewdog are coming up with bullshit like this, saying they're going to redefine real ale. Nah, you're taking the fucking piss. You got either, well, no, I would say that they've got delusions of grandeur. They ain't. They're just trying to sell a bad product, and they're giving it all the marketing flim-flam to try and make it sound good. And as I always say, the proof is in the tasting, and that is below average. So, what is the verdict on Brewdog Shore Leave? It makes some fucking big claims. It really did. You know, if you look at the first section and you see what they were saying about redefining real ale, and what they were saying about boring style ale and the ale that your granddad drunk and paid 2 shillings for, and this was going to revolutionise it. Unreal real ale, that's what they called it. You're taking the fucking piss, and you must think we're mugs. And on its own merits, it's just about passable. It's not a chuck down the sink job. It's just about passable. But for them claims that you've made, I mean, you really are talking a fight. This is the equivalent of a fucking midget like me walking into a pub full of bare knuckle boxers, calling them all out and saying, "You're all a bunch of fucking wankers, and I'll do the lot of you." And yeah. You can imagine what's happening, can't you? So, why did I come up with that analogy? I'm such a fucking twat sometimes. But that's what that's equivalent of. With them claims, they're fucking bold claims that they're, you know, unreal real ale. Let's redefine real ale and stuff like that. With this, nah, you're not going to do it. For that reason, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Because that is just... that is just so forgettable. It really is. There's nothing in that would make me want to buy it again. And the price, you can get 4 of these for £6. It's 4.3%. So, you know, if you're that way inclined, you could probably session this and have a relatively cheap night out. But for me, no. Well, put it this way, on an aisle, they say, you know, even Brewdog said this as well, get this on the real ale aisle, fucking get my tongue round that one, get this on the real ale aisle in your local supermarket, which I did, and on that real ale aisle, fucking that is hard to say, they had Hook Norton, Old Hooky, they had Old Peculiar, they had Guinness West Indian Stout, which is fucking lovely, they had Adnams Broadside, they had the Bath Ales Gem, they had London Pride, they had Fuller's Honeydew, what else? What other good ones? I mean, they had a load of shit. They had all the, what's it? You know, the usual stuff from John Smith's and all that. I mean, that isn't worth mentioning. But they had the Oakham Best Bitter. What else? Basically, and then all the German stuff as well. So, if you're competing with all that lot, Brewdog, and making them claims, then yeah, fuck off. You're getting 4 out of 10, and it's not going down the sink. It's not quite a sink job, but I'll never buy this again. And Brewdog, you must fucking try harder because, yeah, you're failing fucking miserably. And remember, I'm drinking this shit so you don't have to.